I really look forward to the day where, really this AI is shifting from assistant to doer, and looking forward to how consumer AI continues to influence enterprise
Thanks.
expectations, right? Hey everyone, welcome to the next episode of BytePlus SoundByte. And today again, I have with me solutions architect John Lim, and I am Christopher Koo. Yes. So today, obviously, we're going to talk about AI, and I don't know, I think multimodal seems to be the new baseline these days, right?
Exactly. So, Chris, do you use any multimodal solution?
Like other than ChatGPT or Claude. Yeah. Okay, so recently I started using Topaz AI. Topaz AI is really like improving and upscaling, and I think a lot of the videos and things that I've done, or even stuff that I filmed with my family like 15, 20 years ago. Um, Wow, it's amazing what AI can actually do. But so I made the mistake of not reading the fine line between the fine lines, right? I forgot that my RAM is not enough to use one of the models that I really wanted to use. Like I did my research and I realized that they have a model called Starlight, which is working very well for really improving the VHS stuff. So like lot of the stuff like I have, like we transfer it over to our hard drive, and then we really want to improve it, and that really is amazing. Like it is not so plastic, the effect when it's improved. So a lot of some of the other models that I could use on my computer is quite you have this very uncanny plastic effect that you don't really like for some of the older videos. So this model eliminates that problem. But so I cannot do it on my computer, right? So what do? I have to send it into the cloud, and then
Right.
that's when I realized I see I am paying more for what I should. Yeah. So I guess today we are talking about things like that. Multimodal is the new baseline, right? And this text-only AI already feels incomplete in today's standard. And I think multimodal usage is definitely heavier, is spikier, and is not that easy to scale. And so I think from an enterprise perspective, when they are offering that sort of services, and we look at token as a usage and this whole mass business, right? What are we actually looking at to help enterprises understand that, oh, okay, you can make some money and a lot of money out of this actually?
Yeah, right. You pointed out a very good point about the scalability
Yeah.
from consumer point of view. Because a lot of times when you started the AI solutions, there's so tons of all these providers in the market. And when you start to use it, you get very interested, you got hooked. And so what essentially happened here is that, and it comes to the point that you are lacking of sufficient memory or CPU, like you
Yes.
mentioned, right? Because you are coming from the consumer or
Correct.
not really the enterprise. So normally, most of the providers in the market, they will think of a way to commercialize or monetize the consumer, right? So in order to actually solve this thing, we will have to actually subscribe maybe certain plans, maybe a advanced enterprise plan,
Yes.
to use the cloud resources to be
Yes.
able to use more features like what you mentioned earlier on. So one thing about multimodal is a trend that many of the customers are also looking forward to this, because it's not going to be silo solution on single AI features like Seedream or Seedance. But from my point of view, in futures, I think most of the providers in the market will be packaging all these different models into one specific prototype, right? For example, if you talk about in the media industry, you want to create a short drama, you might essentially want to put up something very fanciful in the AI platform, and that AI platform will automate everything for you, right? However, the backend has a lot of different models. That is why we call multi-model, right? So to be able to actually connect everything, so when you start to use it, it's very easy and user-friendly. On the side note, I think for an enterprise to be able to have a long run, to able to sustain this business, we think that the enterprise should actually think further in order to be able to get more retention, right? Because you do not want the customers to use it. Yes, they might feel that this is a very good content, good provide the platform, but they want to be able to enjoy more in things, right? So if the enterprise can give some form of like incentive or things like some free tokens to the end users, I think they will be able to get more stickiness from the customer.
I think that these are just some of the ways to ensure that the
Mm.
runway is definitely longer when you are thinking in terms of how to build and scale this business and provide even better services and options. I think, right?
Right.
Options for the
That's right.
subscribers. So I think this is interesting to see how recently we have launched Seedream 5.0, Seedance 2.0, and our base model Seed 2.0, the LLM. So maybe, John, you can talk a little bit more about the new seed model 2.0 and how because I think a lot of enterprises, they do adopt our LLM
That's right.
to actually power a lot of different services and to scale this business and create this runway for themselves.
Right. Yes, I would say that Seed 2.0, 2.1 maybe in the futures is something that most industries will definitely use it because it is not just like Gen AI, it is more in terms of a large language model. So in the market, in the regions, we have been seeing a trend that LM, the most common use case would be in a chatbot where they integrate to a rack, which is their own knowledge base, and it will be published in a form of customer service, right? So when customers query for some questions, it will be actually querying their own internal knowledge base. And this is something that is highly intense in terms of the LLM, right? It's nothing related to Gen AI, but it's a lot of usage in terms of a large language model, right? Now, Seed 2.0 is a multi-model. Even the previous 1.6 is also a multi-model. It comes with a reasoning and also the VLM, right? So the reasoning model is just pretty much like, DeepSeek R1. If I were to put it this way, it gives you the reasoning before it comes out or churn out the output, the answers. On the other hand, one of the most common use case or even the demand that we're seeing in many industries for the Seed 1.6 or even 2.0 is the VLM. VLM means the visual language model, right? So in the past, people always term it as OCR. So if you upload an invoice, a PDF, you want to actually use this model to be able to do the OCR to analyze this content and output to a JSON. So you can use this for other different purposes, right?
That's right.
So I've been seeing that in the regions, people in the FSI, they're using the VLM to analyze some fraud detection. I have also been seeing that some customers in retail, they have a lot of retails, chain of stores. They have a lot of CCTV. So what they are essentially doing is to use this model to do an online and also an offline inspection to see who is not like wearing the safety helmet, who is not wearing the safety attire. So from time to time, you will be able to use this type of VLM to analyze images, to analyze video in real time, and to trigger any alarms if there's anything that's happening in the background.
I think it's so crazy and interesting at the same time. Like you can even supervise, stock
Yes.
replenishing, of supermarket. You can. That's what VLM can actually also do, right? So I feel like this is so interesting and how this vision model is actually working for enterprises. Would you say that it is going to help a lot with retail more, or what industries are going to really benefit from this the most?
It's I think in China there's a very good use case about the VLM. That maybe in the US you'll probably see some supermarket is unmanned. So there isn't
Correct.
any customers is inside. I mean there's customer service. So it's an entirely 100% unmanned supermarket.
Yes.
So the backend technology is actually using this type of VLM.
Yep.
So any customers, any shoppers that goes into the mall, they can just pick up from the store, the shelf, and then they just walk up, like this, and everything will be actually scanned through the VLM, including some of the, some of the solutions that we actually can actually help them. So not just on the retail or e-commerce, I would think that using VLM can really help a lot of businesses to really detect things like I mentioned on the fraud detection, or even things like detecting, creating some very high quality description. Let's say if you talk about you are creating a content, a high quality media content, and you cannot think out of the box what kind of description you want to put in this content. You could essentially upload this image or even upload a 1 or 2 minutes video and ask the model to provide you a very good quality description. Because end of the day, when you publish this to the social media website, the people that are looking at this, they want to have a good content and good quality of images and videos. So by using this type of Gen AI like Seedream and Seedance coupled with Seed 1.6 or 2.0, we'll be able to do a end-to-end high quality, content generation.
Yes, and I think talking about all these different models, right? We have our Seedance 2.0 as well, and I think it is really making its mark this time in this iteration, and it is also helping e-commerce businesses, and in terms of creating all these different videos when you generate from Seedream, right? So in Seedance 2.0, we have really great realism and physical authenticity. So it's like true to life physical properties and physics-based rendering, which has always been a problem, with
That's right.
models generating physical stuff, right? And native multimodal architecture with text to video and image to video and editing capabilities integrated into one unified model. So maybe we can talk a little bit more about Seedance 2.0 and how it's going to be this game changer for major enterprises who want to adopt it. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the coolest thing about the new version of Seedance 2.0 is that first of all, we are able to embed native audio into the video, which means that when you generate a video, it comes with audio, right? And audio can be something that is decided by the users that put in a prompt, or is based on the background or even the context, right? But one thing about the Seedance 2.0 is that we are also able to do video to video, right? So in the past, we talk about image to video, we talk about text to video. But what's the good thing about using V to V, video to video, is that if you already have your own video, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, advertisements or marketing, you could just continue to use this video. And probably in the video to video, you want to just do a replacement of maybe a product that you want to launch in next month, because every month you have a different products.
That's cool.
But retaining everything of the things that is on the background,
Yeah.
the ambassador will be still be the same, the table, the chairs, etc., etc. So and the reason why we actually release this V2V is because we also see this demand, these feedbacks from the customers in the region that they want to use AI to even optimize the way they have been doing in previously, because they have been using Gen AI to generate videos, but they don't want to generate again and again. But they just want to do a minor changes, which I think this V2V will really help them to speed up the things.
Yes. And for Seedream 5.0, we have one new feature here that I feel is going to be interesting for users and enterprises, which is the intent recognition with this proactive reference search, right? So automatically recognizes user intent and enriches prompts with relevant retrieved reference images. What do you see in this whole evolution of image generation wrapped together with the search capability?
That's a very good update that we have been actually doing right now. So I think in the past, when we actually gotten the Seedream 4.0 and 4.5, a lot of these requests and feedbacks from the customers is always about reference images, right?
Yes.
Because when you do use the Gen AI solutions, you put it in e-commerce, you cannot accept any flaws in terms of the product. Right? So, and that's the main reason where we did a very big, update from 4.0 to 4.5 to support up to 14 reference images. So you can put any angles so long you have the images ready. And 5.0, like what you mentioned earlier on the search, search is always one of the key things that many of the customers are looking as well. We want the customers to be able to, the end customers using, let's say, this e-commerce platform, to be able to do a quick search that is very relatable to what they are looking for. So it's very much like a key value, a key, like a RAG, where you dump in all your, images, and these images will have these capabilities. The model will be able to recognize, hey, this is a product of a cup or a mug. Right. And even to the extent of the color, the shape, the size, things like this. So it's not just about using AI to generate high quality content, but it's also giving customers a very good user experience to get to the things that they wanted. So it's always about this thing.
Yes. So there's also the premium search agent feature. I would like to touch a little bit on that. So, what is the future going to be like in terms of having this capability that we can also search for other things, within the generation process?
Mm. I'll say that because like search, whether you are doing like a search in terms of the internal database or you're
Or
searching for images
external.
or external
Yeah.
videos, many times when the e-commerce, for example, platform, they adopted these AI solutions, they want to get more personalized content to their end
Yes.
customers, right? So in the past, there are many of these solutions like big data, machine learning, and we do a bit of recommendation engine, to be able to pop up something that is very personalized based on the customer's behavior, right?
Yes.
Because this customer might be doing some search on this particular product, right? Or pushing this to the shopping carts, right? So what we are doing essentially here is that the search is always the case that we want it to be an AI search. It's not just a normal search, right? So
Yeah.
this AI search will be able to go into the customer's behavior to understand what's their requirements, and then at the same time to tag to the right content of what they need. So I think search is something that we always have to bear that in mind, that we need to cater for the customer's requirement to ensure that the search capabilities is very AI driven. It's not just a very traditional. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It seems that text isn't enough anymore, and generative AI that handles images, video, audio is more becoming this baseline. What does that mean for platform and product design, in your opinion?
Oh, I would say that, in terms of product and design, in terms of the Gen AI, if you are using, doing a advertisement or poster or logo, it can really help you in a way that, you can optimize the way you have been doing in the very traditional way.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about product and design in a creative department, maybe not just about media and e-commerce. Every industries, they will have their own BU of the marketing, right?
Yeah.
They need to do some user awareness in pushing some content into the social media website. But sometimes they already have their images, right? And they just need to do a bit of amendment in terms of adding words, English or Chinese, different types of languages. So by leveraging on this Seedream 5.0, for example, we can also add things like words or content, doing out some poster or advertisement logo.
Would you say that actually it is kind of like the users are now driving the iteration of these models and influencing enterprises,
It is true, yeah.
right? Not
Yeah,
the other way around, right?
correct.
Yeah. What do you see in this trend, like how user expectations they are driving
Correct.
capabilities?
Yeah. Yeah. Before I start this, I think I was like reading one documentary about, Jobs was Steve Jobs, he with one of Apple conference, he spoke about this very strong statement, which I think really relatable to these customers that's driving the enterprise. He mentioned about we've got to start from the customer's experience and we work backwards to the technology. Right? You can't start from technology and you start to think of what are you going to try to sell, right? And because of this strong philosophy, Apple, has been so successful right now. So
Yes.
I think what you mentioned earlier on the customers is trying to drive the next, wave or even the next goal or demand to the
Yes.
enterprise is absolutely true,
Yeah.
because only then the enterprise, like, even for principals like BytePlus, we will know what are the things that we should improve. We should be constantly getting all the feedbacks, the customers' experience. Then we'll be able to, improve our models to fit the requirements.
Yeah, I really look forward to the day where, really this AI is shifting from assistant to doer, and looking forward to how consumer AI continues to influence enterprise
That's right.
expectations, right? And that concludes our episode today. And thank you, John,
Thank you.
for joining the show. And I'm Christopher. See you in the next episode.
Thank you.